Hey folks, this is part 2 of a review for the Lost Sermons of C.H. Spurgeon, Volume 2. The first part was the construction and materials review, which I went through the actual paper and the binding type and all those things, pros and cons. This review is on the content and history behind it, and some great parts and kind of how you use it. So let's get into it. You can see from the cover, it says it's from the earliest outlines and sermons between 1851 and 1854. And I want to give kudos to Christian T. George. He found the collection, he edited them, he saw through to their publication. So he did an excellent job, and you'll see why when we open this thing up. So just kind of some background. You see, between 1851 and 1854, Spurgeon was born in 1834. Just some background about Spurgeon. He was saved in 1850, in January of 1850, when he was 15 years old. His birthday came and went. He turned 16. He started preaching, leading a Bible study, and he was appointed pastor of a small church called at Water Beach in the winter of 1851, the earlier part of 1851, when he was still 16 years old. As a pastor, these are his first notebooks. These are his first outlines and whatnot when he was just 16, 17 years old through 19, 20 years old. So this 12-volume collection, this is just one of the 12 volumes, just shows the outstanding giftedness that God gave Spurgeon, and we're just thankful that we're able to, have these editions. Otherwise, well, we wouldn't have them if guys like Christian and Lifeway and B&H Publishing didn't make sure that these were published. So thankful again to them. So let's now that you have some history behind Spurgeon, when we open it up, you can see there's some beautiful pages and some nice introductions. I recommend you read the editor preface, and that's from Christian. And you have a lot of acknowledgments because it takes a lot to get something like this published. You have a lot of abbreviations, and then you get to your introduction. And this is just kind of talking about Spurgeon and talking about the history of it. So when we get to the notebook itself, we get through the introduction, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing like this, but also this is pretty cool. It shows the sermons. It's 57 sermons in this edition, and it shows the word count of each sermon. It's really cool. Kind of some statistics of the sermons themselves. It shows Old Testament, New Testament. And it'll show the books used. Yeah, I love the word cloud. It's really cool to kind of show the amount of frequency used in these sermons. You have your pie chart for the New Testament. That's really neat. And this is just so cool. This shows the actual notebook 2. This is actual notebook 2, the front. And when you get to the very back, it shows the very back of the notebook. So it goes from cover to cover, facsimile pieces, and it gives you volume 2. It omits the VO, and you see the L2 just like you'd see right here, L2, and it shows the omitted words are not included, and you can see the actual words. So it shows the facsimile of the actual page, and then what it says. So you can read it in Spurgeon's own handwriting, and then you can go to the I guess, the transcription. So anyway, so you get to your sermons, and like I said, it is word for word. There are a few parts where the grammar might be corrected, like right here they threw an "is" in right there that wasn't actually on the actual notebook. But it's really cool. The content is amazing. I've already read several of these sermons after getting it. It's just really cool. Also, you have a lot of notes that are done by a Christian. He does a lot of these notes that kind of give some explanation and direction. So anyway, that's really, it's like that front to back. You have your the actual notebook page copy, and then it just reads it from word for word, top to bottom. And so when we get to the back, you can just see all of this. The whole thing is like this. It's just so cool to see. When you get to the back, let's see if we can get past the final sermons in this, and you can see the notes, or the kind of the bio on Christian, the editor. And yeah, this is really cool. It showed where Spurgeon tried to start a index, but it just really didn't pan out. So he has one entry, self-deception, on page 78. That was his attempt to create an index in this notebook number 2, which is really, and then you have a doxology there, which is really neat too at the end. And then you have the back. It shows a picture of the back, actual back of the that specific notebook. You have about the editor, Christian, and then maybe from one of my favorite parts of this is the scriptural index. This is really cool. Pick a book of the Bible and a chapter, and it'll give you, if it's in here, it'll give you a page number where you can find a sermon relating to that. Specifically, my church, the church I belong to, I don't pastor, but the church that I belong to, we're going through John, and specifically right now we're at John 19, where Christ is on the cross. So if I look on here, John 19, I can see 33 and 34, page 251. So I can, just right now, I can, if I wish it would focus, that would be really great. So I can go to page 251, and I can go back 1, 2, and I have a sermon on that text that my church is actually going through, which will really help me with leading a small group or Bible study, or if I had to preach, I could preach on that text, and this would help me prepare for that. So it's a really great tool for those studies and devotionals and all those things. So if you're in a specific text in your devotional, you can see what young man Spurgeon had to say about it. So it was pretty neat. And then after the scriptural index, you have a like a topical index. If I can get there, I'll show you. After the scriptural index, you have I want to say it's called the topical, but it might be subject. Yeah, I'm sorry, subject index, which is basically the same thing. So you have several different subjects, and it shows you the page where you can find that subject was preached upon by Spurgeon. So it's just a really amazing resource, and really thankful to have been sent this to review. I'm going to really enjoy this thing, and all that good stuff. So that is it for my part 2 of my review. If you didn't catch the part 1, it is the construction and materials review. It talks about how it's built, the top, the paper and all those things. This one was the content and layout and those things. So hopefully this was helpful prior to purchase, and take care and God bless.